Dear students, welcome to online class from Ulipur Mohila Degree College. You know that because of Corona, COVID-19, our college has been closed for a long time. So our principal and the authority of our college has managed online class. I am Dinesh Chandra Das, Assistant Professor of English. You are welcome to online class. Today, I am going to teach you from grammar. Here, there are 12 grammars. There are 12 grammars in your syllabus. One grammar I want to teach you today. That is right form of verbs. This is very important. Verb is very important. It is called the soul or heart of English language. And you can also call it the main parts of speech. Every part of speech is important. It is more important, I think. So you have to know the verbs well. There are 3 forms of verbs. You have to know well. Carefully you have to learn. Present form, past participle. You have to know with the spelling, meaning, you have to know everything. And tenses are very necessary for solution from right form of verbs. 12 tenses, especially 12 tenses, you have to know with a structure. You know that there are 12 tenses: present indefinite, present continuous tense, present perfect continuous tense. Then from past tense, past indefinite, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. Then from future indefinite, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. You have to know all the tenses well. The structure is must. You have to know all the structures of tenses because these are very necessary for the solution of right form of verbs. There are many rules for right form of verbs. Grammarians have given these rules. If you know these rules, understanding, you have to understand all the rules, or you can memorize. You can memorize all the tenses, all the structures of the tenses, because these tenses will help you to write the correct form of verbs. Okay, so dear students, you have to one by one you have to memorize, or you have to understand, or you have to deposit the rules. Understanding, you have to deposit in your head, and whenever it will be necessary for you, from there, collecting from there, you can solve, applying the rules. Okay, so one by one, I want to explain something that is very important. You have to learn it. You know, persons are 3 kinds. First person, second person, third person. First person, what are first persons. We know first persons I and you here you have to also know the singular or plural. I is and we is plural. Then second person only you. Except these three words, every word of this world is singular. Third person, and then you have to guess, you have to think what will be it, singular or plural. Okay, because according to the subject and persons, you have to use the verb. Okay, number one rule I am now going to explain to you. If the subject is third person singular in the field of present indefinite tense, if the subject is third person singular, then you have to add s or es with the verb. Example, I am going to show example on the blackboard. So look at the blackboard. The boy play cricket. Okay. We see no signs. So it is present indefinite tense. Here you have to understand the subject in this sentence is third person, and the boy, this is singular. So according to the subject, you have to add s or es. Play, you have to add s with play. Then if you do in such a way, then you can see that you have written correctly the sentence. So the correct sentence, the boy plays cricket. Then if the subject is plural, so the boys, here the subject is plural. As the subject is plural, so you must not add s or es with the verb, the plain verb. You have to write the plain verb after the subject. Then it is a correct sentence. The boys cricket. Okay, another rule. Another rule, if we see the sentence is universal truth or habitual fact, then the sentence must be present indefinite tense. And you know the structure of present indefinite tense. After the subject, you have to use the present form of verb. If the subject is third person singular, then you have to add s or es with the verb. And if the subject is not singular, third person singular, if the subject is plural, it may be any subject except third person singular. You must not add s or es. One example I am showing. So look at the blackboard. The sun rise in the east. Here the sun, this is third person singular, and it is universal truth. So you have to add s with the verb. So then it is a correct sentence. The sun rises in the east. Another rule, one by one you have to gather, you have to deposit these rules in your head. That means you have to understand well these rules. Then it is possible for you to solve from this grammar. Another rule, that is, if we see in any sentence always, sometimes, regularly, daily, every day, often, etc. If you see such kind of words in a sentence, and if we don't find any mentioned time, the sentence must be present indefinite. So according to the subject, you have to add s or es. The subject is third person singular, you have to add s or es. And if the subject is another, then you must not add s or es. One example from this rule I am showing. So look at the blackboard. She always disturb me in the class. Number 2, Rina often go to her uncle's house. Here I have written two sentences. In the first sentence, you see there is written, there is given always. This always, you have to remember, this always indicates present indefinite tense. Here we see the subject is she. This is third person and singular. So you have to add s with the verb. Then it is a correct sentence. She always disturbs me in the class. Another example from 2 number, Rina often, in bracket, written, go to her uncle's house. Here subject is Rina and this is third person and singular. Here we see often. Often indicates present indefinite tense. So you have to add es with the verb, then it is a correct sentence. So write in such a way, Rina often goes to her uncle's house. Another rule, they, number 3, they sometimes, in bracket, help us in our crisis. Okay, in 3 number, the sentence is they sometimes help us in our crisis. Here we see sometimes. This word indicates it will be present indefinite tense. Here we see the subject is third person and this is plural. Then, so as the subject is third person and plural, so you must not s or es with the verb. So you can write in such a way, then you can see, then you see that it is a correct sentence. They sometimes help us in our crisis. So these rules you have to keep in your head, and according to the necessity you can use. Another rule I am going to discuss, I am going to tell. So listen to me. At present, something is going on. If we understand such kind of thing in a sentence, or if we see in the sentence now, at present, at this moment, so you have to remember now, at present, at this moment. Such kind of words, if you see phrases and words, if you see in a sentence, the sentence must be present continuous tense, and you know the structure of present continuous tense, because before going to solve from this grammar you have to acquire the knowledge of possible for you to solve. Frequently I am telling for your betterment. Okay, you have to remember these phrases and word now, at present, at this moment. This indicates present indefinite tense. So now I am writing one example from this. They, in bracket, watch TV at this I in bracket write important something for you. Dear students, here in no one you see at this moment, this phrase, as we find at this moment in this sentence, this phrase indicates present continuous tense, and you know the structure. So following the structure you can solve easily. So correct sentence will be, they. Present continuous, after the subject, according to the subject, am is are, you have to use. They is plural, so here you have to bring are. They are. And you have to add ing. Every continuous tense, you have to add ing. They are watching TV at this moment. Another example in number 2, I write important something for you. Here we see okay, I write important something for you now. In this sentence we say now. This now indicates the tense will be present continuous tense. According to the subject you have to use am is are. After I we must use am. Okay, then you have to add ing with the verb. So the correct sentence will be, the correct sentence is I am writing. Okay, if you see E in any verb, at the last of the word if you see E in any verb, you have to cancel the E. There you have to write ing. Then you are adding ing correctly. I am writing important something for you now. Okay, this is a correct sentence. Another example, another rule. Another rule, okay, if you see in any sentence some words which indicate past, such kind of words you have to remember. I am writing here on the blackboard, so look at the blackboard. Last, yesterday, last, yesterday. Okay, such kind of word, you have to remember, these words indicate past indefinite tense. So if you see such kind of words in a sentence, the sentence must be past indefinite tense. So following the structure, you can solve easily. One example, the man in bracket buy a color TV yesterday. Okay. Okay, another example. She in bracket tell a THRILLING thrilling story last night. From the first example, you see here given yesterday. This yesterday indicates past indefinite tense. So you can write correctly in such a way: the man, past form of buy. So three forms are very important for you to know, especially carefully. You have to memorize, you have to know with spelling. So past form of buy is bought. You can write correctly in such a way: the man, B-O-U-G-S-T, bought a color TV yesterday. From number 2, she tell a thrilling story last night. Here is given last. This word indicates past indefinite tense. So you have to write the past form of the bracket verb. Then it is a correct sentence. So you can write in such a way: she told a thrilling story last night. Now I want to tell from conditionals. You have to know all the conditionals. I think there are 5 conditionals. One by one you have to know every conditional. These are very important, and it will help you to write correctly in English language. Correctly. So these are number 1 conditional. So number 1 conditional, number 1, first conditional, if plus present indefinite tense plus future indefinite tense. This is formula. This is the first conditional. This formula you have to memorize carefully in your head, I think. If you know this formula, you can solve easily from right form of verbs, because there will be given with if one part, either present indefinite or it will be given future indefinite tense. So following the formula, following the rule, you can write another tense easily. If there is given after if present indefinite, so after this you have to make the sentence future indefinite. And if there is given bracket after if, so next part will be future indefinite tense. Knowing this formula, knowing this rule, you can solve easily. I am going to show one example. So look at the blackboard. If I go to Ulipur, I will in bracket meet you. Here you see that after if there is given I go to Ulipur, this is present indefinite tense. After it must be future indefinite tense. So next part of it will be future indefinite tense. According to the subject, you have to add a shall or will after the subject, and after shall, will, you must use present form of verb. Okay, so you can write correctly this sentence in such a way: if I go to Ulipur, I will meet you. This is a correct sentence. Okay, in such a way, if you know this formula, in such a way you can solve many sentences, hundreds of sentences, thousands of sentences. You can tell. Okay, so this is important. You have to know and understand it carefully, and you have to deposit it in your head. Okay, another conditional, that means second conditional. Second conditional is number 2. If plus past tense plus past conditional. I think you know past indefinite tense, but past conditional, I think there is problem, I think, in you. Oh, past conditional. Past conditional is the formula of past conditional is past conditional. So past conditional, what is past conditional? Past conditional subject plus would oblique could oblique might plus after this would, could, might, we know there will be present form of verb. Verb 1, we can write in such a way. Past conditional, Okay, you have to understand it. Past conditional. What is the past conditional? Past conditional is after subject you have to add would, could, might, any one of these three words, then present form of the verb, and then extension. Okay, so one example I am showing, only one example. If I went to Dhaka, I in bracket you can write, we can write any word. If I went to Dhaka, in bracket meet the man. Okay, here after if we see there is given I went to Dhaka. First form of go is went. As it is past indefinite tense, so next part will be past conditional. And you know past conditional, that means after the subject you have to use would, could, might, any one of these three words, and then present form of the verb. So you can write in such a way, if I went to Dhaka, I would oblique, you can write any word, would or could, meet present form. There is given the present form in the bracket, the man. Another conditional number 3. Now 3 no conditional is if plus past perfect tense plus perfect conditional. Okay, I think you don't know the perfect conditional. Perfect conditional is such, you have to know. Perfect conditional is such is equal to subject, after subject you have to bring would have, oblique could have, might have. Plus verb 3. That means past participle of the verb. Verb 3, that means past participle of the verb. Then extension. You have to know especially past conditional. What is past conditional? Is such subject, would have, could have, might have, past participle, then extension. So one example I am showing. If they had played well, they in bracket win the game. Okay. After if, we see they had played well, past perfect tense. This is the past perfect tense. So next part of this sentence will be perfect conditional. After subject, you have to bring would have, could have, might have, any one of these three phrases. Then past participle of the verb, win, own. So you can write correctly this sentence in such a way: if they had played well, they would have won the game. Another conditional, I am going to discuss another rule. From conditionals, this is 4. If the sentence starts with had, okay, the formula or the structure is such: had plus subject plus past participle plus dot. If the sentence starts in such a way with had, next part of it will be past conditional, and you know the past conditional, it is already discussed, past conditional. Okay, from there, knowing that, you can solve easily. Okay, if the sentence starts with had, then subject, then past participle, next part of it will be perfect conditional, and you know the structure of past perfect conditional. After subject, would have, could have, might have, and then past participle of the verb, then extension. One example I am showing: had I been a poet, I in bracket write a poem for you. Okay, only one example I am showing. Carefully listen to me, that is, the sentence starts with had, then we see subject, then past participle. So after it, that means next part of it will be perfect conditional, and you know the perfect conditional. What is perfect conditional? It has been already discussed for you. So you can write in such a way the sentence: had I been a poet, I would have. Past participle of the right is written a poem for you. Okay? This is a correct sentence. Another conditional, that is 5-number conditional. Another 5 no conditional. Number 5. If we see such kind of structure, okay, if plus if plus subject plus where, with such a structure, if the sentence starts, then the next part of it will be either past conditional or perfect conditional, and these two conditionals already have been told, have been discussed. For you can solve easily in this sentence. Okay, one or two example here I am showing for you. If I were a rich man, I in bracket help the poor. One example, this is enough, I think. If you understand this sentence, I think from such kind of rules you can solve many problems. Okay. If I were, here the sentence after subject, after if we see the subject is I and then we see where. Okay. So here according to the structure, if I were, after this next part perfect conditional, and you know the perfect conditional and past conditional. So you can write the sentence correctly in such a way: if I were a rich man, I would help the poor. Another way to write correctly the sentence, or if I were a I would have, then past participle of the verb will be past participle of the verb helped the poor. Okay, except these rules there are many rules. In the next class I will deliver my lecture on the other rules. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.